In a world where strength is often associated with invincibility, embracing vulnerability can feel counterintuitive. However, when embraced, it could be the key to genuine connection, personal growth, and emotional resilience. Let's start from the basics. What exactly is vulnerability? At its core, vulnerability is the courage to show up authentically without pretense or armor. It's about being open, honest, and raw, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. Contrary to what many believe, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength and self-awareness. Despite its benefits, many of us fear being vulnerable. We worry about being judged, rejected, or hurt. We fear that if we let our guard down, we'll be seen as inadequate or unworthy. All these fears are valid, and there is indeed a cost that comes with being vulnerable. One of the biggest barriers to embracing vulnerability is the fear of shame. We worry that by exposing our true selves, we'll be met with judgment, rejection, or ridicule. But what happens once we push past that fear and embrace vulnerability despite the possibility of shame? Beyond shame lies a world of liberation, a world where we reclaim our power, embrace our imperfections, and live with unapologetic authenticity. Here's what can happen when we dare to be vulnerable, even in the face of shame. 1. Self-acceptance. Embracing vulnerability allows us to make peace with our imperfections and embrace ourselves fully, flaws and all. When we let go of the need to hide or mask our true selves, we cultivate a deep sense of self-acceptance and self-love. 2. Empowerment. Vulnerability is an act of courage and empowerment. When we choose to show up authentically, despite the risk of shame, we reclaim our power and agency, refusing to let external judgment define our worth. 3. Connection. Beyond shame lies the opportunity for genuine connection with others. When we share our vulnerabilities openly and honestly, we create space for empathy, understanding, and compassion to flourish, bridging the divide between us and fostering deeper connections. 4. Resilience. Embracing vulnerability builds emotional resilience, allowing us to bounce back from setbacks and adversity with strength and grace. When we no longer fear shame, we become more resilient in the face of life's challenges, knowing that our worth is not determined by others' opinions. At these moments, it's natural to imagine the worst-case scenario. The key in dealing with vulnerability is embracing the worst-case scenario head-on. The question to ask is, what's the worst that could happen, and then what? You will realize that by pausing and thinking of all the possibilities, you leave the box where there was only one answer and see the situation from different angles. Assuming the worst-case scenario is not about dwelling in negativity, but rather about facing our fears with courage and resilience. Here's what can happen when we dare to embrace vulnerability, even when the outcome seems bleak. 1. Courage. Confronting the worst-case scenario requires immense courage. When we acknowledge our fears and vulnerabilities, we tap into a reservoir of inner strength and resilience, empowering us to face whatever challenges may come our way with bravery and conviction. 2. Perspective. Embracing the worst-case scenario can provide valuable perspective. When we imagine the worst possible outcome and realize that we can survive it, we free ourselves from the grip of fear and uncertainty, gaining clarity and insight into what truly matters in life. 3. Resilience. Assuming the worst-case scenario builds emotional resilience. When we confront our fears and vulnerabilities head-on, we learn that we are capable of weathering life's storms and bouncing back from adversity stronger than before. 4. Freedom. Embracing the worst-case scenario liberates us from the paralysis of fear. When we release the need for certainty and control, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and experiences, allowing us to live more boldly and authentically. While the scars of shame and humiliation may run deep, they do not have to define us indefinitely. It's a common belief that once we experience shame or humiliation, we're forever marked by it, that we can never fully recover or move past the pain. There is life after public shame and humiliation. It's possible to overcome shame and humiliation through vulnerability and self-compassion. Here's what can happen when we dare to embrace vulnerability and confront the lasting effects of shame. 1. Healing. Embracing vulnerability is a powerful catalyst for healing. When we acknowledge and validate our experiences of shame and humiliation, we begin the process of healing old wounds, allowing ourselves to let go of self-blame and self-criticism and embrace self-compassion instead. 2. Empowerment. Vulnerability empowers us to reclaim our sense of worth and dignity. When we refuse to let shame and humiliation hold us back, we take back control of our narratives, recognizing that our worthiness is not determined by our past mistakes or others' perceptions of us. 3. Connection. Embracing vulnerability fosters deep connection with others who have experienced similar struggles. When we share our stories of shame and humiliation openly and honestly, we create a sense of belonging and solidarity, knowing that we are not alone in our experiences. 4. Resilience. Contrary to popular belief, it is possible to bounce back from shame and humiliation with resilience and strength. When we embrace vulnerability and face our fears head-on, we build emotional resilience, learning to navigate life's challenges with courage and grace. When we're faced with vulnerability, especially in challenging situations, it's easy to get overwhelmed by our emotions. But what if we shifted our focus from the intensity of our feelings to the clarity of our goals? While emotions are a natural part of the human experience, they don't have to dictate our actions or define our outcomes. By embracing vulnerability while staying focused on our goals, we can cultivate resilience, empowerment, and deeper connections with ourselves and others. In conclusion, embracing vulnerability is not easy, but it's worth it. By letting go of our masks and revealing our true selves, we invite deeper connections, personal growth, and a richer, more authentic life. So, let's embrace vulnerability together and see where it takes us on this beautiful journey of being human. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on personal growth and self-discovery. Remember, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's what makes us beautifully human. Until next time, take care and stay true to yourself.